Hey, what up? It's your boy. If there's one thing that Japan has a big problem with, especially I feel over the last couple of years, is that a lot of people are single, but they're not ready to mingle. It might be because maybe a lot of Japanese people have trouble finding dates, or a lot of people, as I said earlier, are just not interested in the dating game, but that doesn't mean people don't want company. People don't want affection. No, quite the opposite, in fact. A lot of people actually try and go out of their way to try and find a suitable partner in any way that they can alleviate their loneliness. And, Japan has a lot of weird services that they offer to alleviate a lot of single people's loneliness. There's like the hugging cafe. Maid cafes are a prime example of that, but some man decided to take things into extreme measures. It says here, Hyogo man arrested for stealing over 1,000 New Year greeting cards to distract from loneliness. Oh, Christ. Now, to give you guys some cultural explanations here, in Japan, New Year's is a great deal. New Year's is a time where a lot of people usually go back to their families to, spend the first couple of years of the new year, their very well-earned holidays, the very few that they have, to, have some company. It's almost seen as like a necessity for a lot of people to kind of reset for the upcoming year ahead. And during that time as well, it is customary for you to send New Year's greeting cards to your family members, your friends, anyone that you work with, for example, just to say, hey, it's a new year, new me, I'm excited to, continue this relationship with you for the upcoming year, and hopefully you guys have a wonderful year. Kind of like a Christmas card, right? And as someone who sends out New Year's greeting cards and receives a lot of New Year's greeting cards from family and friends every year living in Japan, it's a nice feeling. It's a nice warm feeling of being like, oh man, it's great that, with this new year, there are people looking out for me. There are people that have my back for the upcoming year. But I guess for this particular man living in the Hyogo prefecture, that wasn't enough for him. For many around the world, the year-end holidays can be a very painful time. It's a time when messages of togetherness, family, and relationships are plastered across all media, making it sting more for those who don't have some or any of these things. And in Japan, New Year's Day is generally considered the biggest family holiday of the year, as I mentioned. It all seemed to be enough to drive one 38-year-old resident in Nishinomiya City, Hyogo Prefecture, to do the unthinkable. It definitely is the unthinkable, and steal over 1,000 New Year's cards from people's mailboxes. Like this man didn't even go to the post office. He went around to 1,000 people's homes, maybe less, because some households have more than one New Year's cards, and just steal a crap ton of Nengajos. That's crazy. The suspect was first arrested on January the 14th for the theft of 5 New Year's cards from the mailbox of an apartment complex. He admitted to the crime and told police he stole them to read the messages and distract himself from loneliness. He was released soon after, but in addition to the 5 cards, there were numerous reports of nearby residents not receiving their cards. Many of the people who were missing cards didn't lock their mailboxes. Then, on January 16, the Nishinomiya post office reported to the police that upwards of 1,000 cards were found in various mailboxes around the city. Also, a person fitting the suspect's description was seen putting cards into a mailbox. The suspect was then arrested again for stealing a calendar from a mailbox in the same apartment complex and charged with the theft of the other cards. We can all sit here and laugh and be like, ha ha ha, what a loner on New Year's, but honestly, my first reaction to hearing this news was, it's really fucking sad, because, this is probably a guy who maybe doesn't have family around, maybe doesn't have friends around, no one there to just be with him, even during one of the most festive and family-oriented holidays in all of Japan and throughout the entire year. And, I get the whole loneliness part. I totally get that. I was in a long-distance relationship for the first 2.5 years of my relationship, and, there were a lot of days where I felt super fucking lonely, even though I knew I had family that I could call, even though I knew I had friends that I could contact and hang out with. Sometimes when you're just sitting in your room, man, it can get lonely. And there's a lot of aspects of Japan where, like, if you don't go out of your way to socialize, if you don't go out of your way to seek that social interaction, especially in big cities like here in Tokyo, it gets really difficult to find it. It's not a lot of times where that kind of stuff will actually come to you, because unlike a lot of cities that have this kind of stranger friendliness where you can strike up a conversation in a line in a Walmart or something, or you could just start talking to a person and hopefully they'll reciprocate it fine and you can have a conversation with a random person. It really doesn't happen in Japan. Stranger friendliness is a very, very rare thing. Like, honestly, the only times where stranger friendliness really comes into play in Japan is if alcohol is involved, and at that point it's very difficult to maintain any kind of like long-lasting friendships unless you constantly go back to the same bar and constantly interact with the same customers or the owner of said bar. And it seems like I'm not the only one who felt really pitiful for this guy, because there were a lot of comments on news outlets in Japan and on social media, things like, news that will make you lonely, I feel bad now, what a sad incident. But at the same time, there was, I guess, another side to this story that got people thinking a little sus about the whole thing. While it now appears that the suspect's loneliness is a lot more serious than previously thought, there is a unique feature of Japanese New Year's cards that is very important to consider in this case. Each New Year's card printed on postcards issued by Japan Post has a 6-digit number on the bottom of the back. These are lottery numbers for a draw held in the middle of January by Japan Post, with various prizes up for grabs, such as a 30,000 yen gift certificate, which is about $300, or food. And for those who match only the last two numbers, they can get a set of 2 New Year's stamps worth 63 yen each. So when that whole lottery, that whole New Year's gacha system gets involved, because of course Japan has to fucking gachify everything, that's when people started to get a little bit suspicious of like, okay, I get that you're lonely during New Year's or whatever, but at the same time, are you really doing it because you're lonely? Or did you understand that there was probably a lot at stake here, like literal stakes, literal lottery numbers at stake here, and that you were just there to cash in on everyone's prizes? After the suspect was arrested the second time, the police searched his home and found 4 New Year's stamp sets, suggesting that he may have redeemed some of the cards that he had stolen. To make matters more suspicious, the draw was held on January 15th, one day before the post office reported hundreds of cards turning up in public mailboxes. It's very suspicious but not damning evidence, as he might have attempted to return the cards at that time so that the rightful owners could still claim the prizes, which they can do until July the 18th. So it's really a difficult situation that I don't think anyone, even the police, are not fully understanding. Did this guy do it in an act of desperation to alleviate the New Year's loneliness that he feels, or did he do it for more nefarious monetary reasons? We may never know. If you ask me, it might be a little bit of both, to be honest. Maybe it started off as actually trying to alleviate his loneliness, because again, Nengajos, if you've received a Nengajo before, you know that no matter what, no matter how cheesy it is, getting a physical letter in this day and age, in the age of social media and the internet, where you can just type up a New Year's greeting or whatever, getting a physical piece of paper to say, hey, look, people actually care about me. This is a great stuff. It's a great feeling. It's a great warm feeling. So, maybe he grabbed all of these New Year's cards and, did a self-insert into the subject of that particular New Year's card to kind of, again, distract himself, as he put it in the police report. But then maybe, and this is just my thought, maybe after he decided and started collecting more and more and more, he remembered or realized, oh, I can get 2 for my prize right now. I can alleviate my sadness, and if I wanted to, if I was being a cheeky little boy, I could also sneakily perhaps get some money out of this shit as well. It seems a lot of people are still willing to give the suspect the benefit of the doubt in this case. It's not unreasonable, since according to Japan Post, the odds of winning the grand prize of just 30,000 yen is 1 in a million, which, if you ask any gacha player, is, still not as bad as FGO, which meant he had only a 0.1% chance of winning even with 1,000 cards. So if his motives was purely greed, it was a poorly thought out crime, unless he's really into stamps. Yeah, you never know. This guy might be a stamp collector. He thought to himself, oh shit, I can make some money on the side if I wanted to, if I'm lucky enough. Fuck that, I just want the stamps, dog. Put it into my stamp collection. If loneliness is the cause of this crime, hopefully the suspect will get the help he needs and maybe even a nice New Year's card from the Hyogo police next year to help keep him on the straight and narrow. See, you know, that's a nice sentiment to leave off the article, but knowing Japan, they're probably not going to do that. Purely because Japan is very far behind on a lot of cultural awareness in the grander scheme of things, and up until recently didn't even note mental health as being an actual illness. Like, it wasn't until much later compared to other Western countries that Japan was like, oh, depression is a thing, and it's an actual, like, clinical thing that people need to get help with. I thought it was just a state of being. I thought it was just an emotion. Like, yeah, it sounds fucked up, and it's because it is, and it certainly doesn't help that it took this long for Japan to finally realize that these are actual issues, and especially issues that, you know, really persist in Japanese civilization, like really persist in Japanese society. I mean, you guys know all about like the, you know, terrible working culture here in Japan and stuff like that, and God knows, like the mental health spike must be insane, especially after the pandemic. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's a nice sentiment at the end of it, but let's be real, the Hyogo Police Department is probably not going to give a shit. They're probably just going to give him a slap on the wrist, you know, take back all of the stuff that he stole and then just call it a day. Which, you know, again, is sad, because if the sole purpose, if the sole motive of this crime was loneliness, then that's just a bigger slap to the dude than ever before. Like, you're literally just smearing salt into a very open and now very public wound. And this is just a hunch, but I have a feeling this man is probably not alone in this situation either. There are probably a lot of people out there in Japan who are very just lonely and feel very lonely, maybe even feel depressed over it, and it sucks, and I get it. I've been there, and it blows, especially because, again, as the article says, Japan really does like market the shit out of this during the new year. Every single year it is a common thing that you will see right after Christmas. But in the end, we may never know, and as this article said beautifully as well, I do hope this guy gets the help that he deserves, you know, no matter what it is. And yeah, let's just hope that his motives were more innocent than they may have seemed on the grander scale of things. That was just a little article I wanted to show, a little sad piece of news. Hell, this might be the saddest piece of news I've seen coming from Japan in a long time. So yeah, bottom line, guys, if you're watching this video, take care of yourselves, take care of your mental health, especially if you're a content creator, especially if you're in the creative field like I am, because God knows you can get distracted from that shit so easily, and then you won't realize it until it's too late. I try to do my best to take care of my mental health all the time, and taking care of the mental health of obviously my girlfriend and my close friends and stuff like that as well. And, you know, you guys should do the same. You know, maybe, you know, message your friend, just being like, yo, what's up? You know, how you been? You know, because like, it doesn't really take that long. No matter how busy you are, it really doesn't take long to just send a text to a friend. Because the number one thing that a lot of people say is, oh, I don't have enough time. No, it's not that you don't have enough time. It's that you don't make time. It really doesn't take that much out of your day to just send a message to your friend, no matter how short it is, because to you it might be nothing, but to them it might be the entire world. But yeah, sorry for getting sappy at the end there. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right there to subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. And over here next to my head is a couple more videos you can check out if you enjoy this one, and links to all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, my Patreon if you like to support me, as well as TikTok and YouTube Shorts, which have been blowing up recently. Thank you very much. Is all down in the description below, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.